Hi, it's Diane from Airzoom Bakery, and I wanted to just share with you a little bit of research that I've been doing up in Boston. I'm actually up here for a couple of weeks while my daughter and son-in-law take a fabulous trip to Australia, and I'm puppy sitting for dogs, well, my own Luna, and their three dogs, Huck, Marley, and Maxie. But while I'm up here, am very interested in learning more about a pastry called Rugelach. Now, you probably are familiar with it, at least you may have heard about it. If not, have experienced it many times. You may have grown up with it, and maybe not. But often when I sell my product, Airzoom Bakery Phenome, which is a Hungarian pastry, that recipe came through my family. My Aunt Betty would make it all the time, and I knew it was super, super great product from just watching relatives and friends dive into a plate of Phenome. So I often what happens is when I would demo in stores or I get a note back from a customer saying, wow, they really remind me of Rugelach. So I wanted to do some investigating to find out really why is that? Why does Phenom remind people of Rugelach? So just to bring it back a little bit of history, Rugelach were developed in many, many centuries ago in Poland. And they started to spread across the world. I mean, they are popular almost across the world right now, and they come in different forms. Lots of different fillings, lots of different fruit fillings, raspberry, apricot. Apricot is actually very popular. They're filled with nuts and fruit, and they can be filled with chocolate. I really am on a quest to find the best tasting chocolate Rugelach that I could. So I went to a number of different places. Up in Boston, there are a lot of Jewish bakeries, and I went to the other day a bakery called Kupol's, which is in Brookline. This bakery is packed any time of day. People love their products. They don't only sell Rugelach, but they have bagels, fabulous bagels with all kinds of fillings and toppings and spreads. And I picked up one of their Rugelachs. Then I wanted to go to another bakery, and it actually is in the north end in the Italian area called Bova's. And they have chocolate Rugelach, and I'm going to share with you that product. And I just happened to be the third place. I was in Trader Joe's the other day, and they have had a product, a Rugelach product there for years, and it's cinnamon nut Rugelach. Comes in a container like that. So I wanted to sample that one, even though it wasn't chocolate. I wanted to get a feel for the dough and the topping and just how that product is so successful in the store. So the first one we'll go through is a cinnamon chocolate Rugelach made by Kupol's. And if you could see, they sell it not in an individual Rugelach. They do not cut it all the way through, and it's a stick, in a stick form. And they sell it by the pound like this. And this one is their cinnamon chocolate Rugelach. I asked which ones were super popular, and the guy behind the counter told me this one. The second one is from Bova's, and this one is a chocolate Rugelach made with mini chocolate chips, as you could see, and topped with some large crystal sugar. And then the third one, as I mentioned, is not chocolate, but it is a cinnamon nut, and it's topped with some sugar also, and we'll get into that one. So I wanted to also mention that Rugelach is made in two major different ways. One is a yeast dough, which is a sweetened yeast dough, very flaky, kind of reminds me of croissant. And it's laminated, folded, and the filling is folded in there, and it comes out with lots of little layers of filling and pastry. And they're very often made into a little crescent shape, like a little crescent roll. You start out with a circle of dough and you cut it into wedges and you roll it up like a crescent roll. But all three that I got here yesterday are the other form, which is a cream cheese dough, and it's butter, cream cheese, flour, and a little bit of sugar. That's kind of the basic recipe. If you look up any recipes, some have salt added to it, but it's cream cheese, butter, flour, and some sugar, and it gives you that little bit of that tartness. So it's not like a traditional American pastry, like a pie dough, but you get that tartness in the flavor of the dough. So they all are the cream cheese version. None of them were the yeast dough version that I found at the places that I went to. So let's take a look at the Kooples. This is the chocolate cinnamon. You can see like there's a lot of cinnamon on top, chocolate inside. I'm gonna just cut this. You can see all the chocolate inside, a very strong cinnamon flavor. But what you would expect, because it is chocolate cinnamon, and for people that love cinnamon, it's very delicious. I wasn't particularly looking for that strong a cinnamon flavor. I do like cinnamon. You can see by the top how dark brown it is compared to the rest of the pastry. So they really do load it up on cinnamon. But if you like cinnamon, I think it's a lovely product. Definitely buttery, chocolatey, and cinnamony. Nice and flaky. Very delicious. So the next one is the Bova's, which is the chocolate chip. It looks like they make it primarily with chocolate chips. I don't think they add any other type of chocolate. They just roll a ton of chocolate chips into the dough and roll it up. So I'm going to try this one. Let me take this little taste here. I'd cut them onto little pieces, so make it easier. That is really good. The chocolate is excellent. Because it doesn't have cinnamon, it doesn't take away from the chocolate if that's what you're looking for. Lots of chocolate, lots of butter, crunchiness from the sugar. And the sugar is like a large grain sugar crystal, kind of like a demerara sugar or a turbinado, but it's just a white sugar, so it doesn't have that additional deep, a little bit of like molassesy flavor that a darker brown large crystal sugar does offer. I put the demerara on my Phenome Hungarian pastries because it adds a little bit of extra flavor to my product and it adds a wonderful crunch. That is an excellent chocolate Rugelach. And then this one is the Trader Joe's, and as I mentioned, that is the cinnamon nut. But I wanted to mention what I found very interesting is there's raspberry preserves in this one also, but they don't call out the raspberry preserves on the label. As you can see, it's just the cinnamon nut Rugelach. But when you read the ingredient statement, it has raspberry. So let's go ahead and try this one. And there definitely is a good amount of raspberry jam because I'm so used to making rolled pastries, my Phenome Hungarian pastry. I can see that there is a good amount of jam in here, and the nuts are kind of like layered into with the jam. That is very delicious. You definitely get the raspberry. You get cinnamon, but it's not as strong as the copals. And the nuts you certainly get. And they're pretty fine, pretty finely ground, very finely chopped, not big pieces of nuts. You could see maybe if I hold it really close, you see the little pieces on the side, those are the nuts. And you can see that red jam. So there is a really significant amount of jam. Interesting that they don't call it out, but it is a delicious pastry. And, I would definitely recommend that one too. Personally, I was on a quest looking for chocolate, and the Bova's really hits the mark. I mean, it is delicious, and it is just straight up chocolate butter pastry crunch, if that's what you're looking for. You get the chocolate hit, the butteriness, and it's so almost rare today that pastry is filled with the really good stuff, the butter and the cream cheese. Bakers, and I understand why, they're trying to cut corners and trying to keep their costs down. But you know what? You just can't replace the real deal. It just tastes phenomenal. So my preference is for the Bova's chocolate chip Rugelach. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Some of these other varieties, there are so many different types that people grow up with, so many different flavors, apricot, raspberry, poppy seed, prune. There are lots and lots of different flavors that you can find. Bakers are combining different types of nuts, and now with a lot of nut allergies, they're pulling the nuts out. Actually, I do not ever use any nuts in my product because so many people have allergies to them. I just rather stay away from nuts. Of course, we have dairy and we have wheat, but the nuts, in terms of allergies, I stay away from. But just wanted to share with you what I found. Love to hear any thoughts that you have. Tell me about the Rugelach that you may have grown up with. Was it the yeast dough type or the cream cheese type? What was your favorite filling? I'd love to hear from you. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.